Hello and welcome to tonight's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
I think what I wanted to do, was to be honest and to be open.
Lindsay Burrow on life without Rob, his lasting legacy and how she's found the strength to carry on.
He wanted to help raise awareness for the postman, for the school teacher, for the bricklayer, for those that didn't have a voice, and people now know what MND is.
Well, we've much more with Lindsay in just a moment, but also on calendar tonight.
Anger in the Calder Valley after a mountain rescue vehicle run by volunteers is targeted by thieves.
Clearer skies and colder nights on the way, but does that mean more sunshine by day? I'll have your full forecast a little later on.
And downing tools. After the late call-up to the boxing bout of the decade, Doncaster electrician Josh Hadley ditches his day job. Hello, good evening. Lindsay Burrow, the wife of the late rugby star Rob Burrow, has been telling us how she agonised about asking him if he was ready to go hours before his death.
Rob lost his battle with motor neurone disease 8 months ago, and Lindsay says she misses him every day. And she's told their story in her book, Take Care.
But despite such sadness, she's also told us how proud she is of everything Rob did to raise awareness of MND and what has become a remarkable lasting legacy.
We'll hear from Lindsay in just a moment, but first, Katie Oscroft has been looking back.
Rob Burrow enjoyed a glittering career with Leeds Rhinos. He was the smallest on the pitch, but stood tall even when at the age of 37 he was diagnosed with MND. With wife Lindsay by his side, he shared his declining health. He raised awareness and money of this debilitating disease. This an unforgettable moment as his friend and teammate Kevin Sinfield carried him across the line in a marathon in his name. It was an image which inspired countless others. In life, Rob lost the ability to speak, but not his spirit.
How important, Rob, is it to have a centre, dedicated to you, your name on there?
I did not set out to have a building named after me, but I have such great feedback for sharing my story and opening up about the disease. I've got something to remember me by long after my time, for my kids to remember me by.
I think the legacy that Rob's left, is just incredible.
The most amount of thank yous, congratulations.
His courage brought honours from royalty. His death was mourned by thousands. But his legacy, enough money raised for a world-class centre in Leeds to better treat and even to cure those who come after him with a devastating diagnosis of MND.
Katie Oscroft there. Well, I caught up with Lindsay earlier and she spoke openly about Rob's last few days and where she finds the strength to carry on so positively. You've given a lot of yourself in this book, haven't you? And, describing in great detail, Rob's last days and his last hours and his last minutes. Why did you feel you wanted to get all of that out there? Because some people might say that really is a personal thing, a private thing.
Yeah, and I understand that. I think what I wanted to do, was to be honest and to be open. And I appreciate that I probably have set myself up to be quite vulnerable in doing so. So it was with Rob's permission, and I just felt that I had to be truthful because I felt that, there will be other people that will go through that situation, and if reading my story helps them through that situation, then that's why I did the book.
And, you've had the build-up to Rob's final day for so long. Mm-hmm. When it actually came and when it actually happened, was it as bad as you thought it would be, or... I can't really think of the words, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I don't think you can ever prepare yourself for that day. Prior to Rob's passing, I'd researched, how would we deal with it with the children, how to talk to the children. It was never a situation that I ever thought I would find myself in, at 41 years old, losing my husband, the children losing their dad. But I think I took real strength and comfort knowing that Rob had had enough. He'd fought his battle, and we were all there. Rob was surrounded by his family, by the ones who loved him the most, and he went really peacefully. So in the nicest way, he was surrounded by love. The children have got big smiles on their faces. They were painting his nails and making those memories. So I'm so fortunate that we had that time together as a family to make those memories. And I think when you love somebody, you don't want to see them suffering. And at the end, it was tough. Rob had fought his battle, and it was his time.
And I know in the book you describe how you questioned your own judgment, didn't you? You know, you were worried that you'd maybe pushed Rob to make that decision that it was time to go.
Yeah, I think on reflection, you know, I think you do because you don't want it to be the end. We all knew this day was coming. We hoped it never would. And he was really tired. He was really struggling. But you do question, you know, should I have said, do you want to keep fighting, Rob? But my question was, have you had enough? So I did haunt myself over that, but I think the support of the staff at the hospital and the family, and you know, I knew, and Rob had said he'd communicated through his eyes to say he'd had enough, and we had to respect Rob's wishes.
Do you ever just wish you'd never heard those 3 letters MND?
Yes, yeah, every day.
What is it, do you think, that drives you on and makes you the person you are?
I think it's down to Rob and his positivity and the way he handled it. He showed me the way, and had Rob not been so positive, it would have been a different story. I think if you'd have asked me at the start, would Rob share his story, I'd have said no, because he was such a private family man. So I think to go out and show the world what MND is and what it does do to a person when he's at his most vulnerable is such a courageous and brave thing to do. And, you know, I'm so proud of Rob for that, because he could have quite easily said, the time's with my family now, I'm going to shut the doors and that's it. But he didn't. He wanted to help raise awareness for the postman, for the school teacher, for the bricklayer, for those that didn't have a voice. And people now know what MND is. And his legacy is one of hope and inspiration, and I hope people will take hope and inspiration from his story.
Yeah, and you must just miss him so much.
Every day, yeah. But I still feel he's with us. You know, I think whatever we do, he'll always be with us.
He will, yeah, definitely. And he thought the world of you. Lindsay, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. And you've got a book!
Yeah.
What an achievement!
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All the best with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Laura, it's so nice to see Lindsay earlier and to hear, you know, just everything she's been through and to see all that positivity. And she's training for 2 marathons, can you believe?
Yeah.
They've got the MND Treatment Centre, all that fundraising being on for that. That's to come.
Where does she find all the energy for all this?
I just don't know. She just does. And, you know, the children as well, of course, drive her forward and keep her going too.
Yeah, she's wonderful. They're a wonderful, wonderful family and inspirational to us all. Well, there's much more from Lindsay on our website. All you have to do is head to itv.com/calendar to take a look. And over on our streaming service, ITVX, on your smart TV phone or online, you can head to the news section and you can watch the full interview, which I thoroughly recommend that you do. It's a good one. OK, to the Calder Valley now, where a rescue team is out of action tonight because vital kit from one of their vehicles has been stolen.
The Calder Valley Search and Rescue Team relies on a fleet of specialist vehicles with winches, ropes and crag equipment to help rescue people from difficult locations across the area.
But tonight, Calder Mobile 3 is out of action. Our reporter Amelia Beckett is at their base in Mythenroyd. Amelia, tell us just how bad is the damage and what effect is it having on what they do?
Well, as you say, Laura, I'm here at the base this evening. This is the vehicle that was targeted. It wasn't here when it was targeted, but I'm just going to show you some of the things that have been stolen. If we take a look down at the front here, you can see the winch has been totally stolen from the front. Blue lights, which of course show the emergency vehicle, and under the bottom a protective plate has also been stolen. It's put this vehicle completely out of action, which has a huge impact. I'm joined now by Rob from the team. Rob, can you just tell me, when you found that this had happened, how did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, as a team, we were deeply disappointed. So, as you've mentioned, it put this vehicle out of action. We strive to provide a professional service, but ultimately, at the heart of it, we're a charity staffed entirely by volunteers. So, there's the financial impact associated with recovering from this, but then there's the impact on our volunteers' time, the paperwork, making it safe, getting it in for repair, has all had a really big impact. So it's been a huge hit to the team.
And as I say, this vehicle out of action now, what's the wider effect on that for the whole of the Calder Valley?
Yeah, so we cover a big area, you know, the northern half of West Yorkshire, and as a result we rely on our vehicles, of which we've got 4, to get around for any call out that happens. Typically we'd turn out 20 people to any job, and so having a quarter of our fleet out of action means those people can't travel in an emergency vehicle and have to rely on travelling in their own cars at normal road speed, ultimately impacting patients.
Massively impactful there. Obviously awful situation, but there has been a positive outcome, hasn't there?
Yeah, so we're amazingly grateful. We put a social media post out stating what had happened, and the response from the local community has been brilliant. We've had numerous offer of winches, of lighting, of people to do the work, and indeed some cash donations. So we are so grateful to the community for that.
All right, Rob, thank you ever so much. Those donations mean that hopefully by the end of the week, this vehicle will be back in action. But of course, now an investigation is underway to try and catch the culprits.
Thank you very much, Amelia.
A father of 2 who helped fuel a fire outside a Rotherham hotel housing asylum seekers last year has been jailed for 8 years. Aaron Bailey, who's 28, was seen in footage played to the court, adding large planks and boxes to a bin that had been set on fire outside the doors of the Holiday Inn Express in Manvers. The court also heard he'd sprayed a fire extinguisher at police and threw a rock at a van. Bailey pleaded guilty to violent disorder and arson with intent to endanger life.
A retired GP who stopped a train heading for the UK's biggest power station in North Yorkshire has been found guilty of obstructing the railway. Climate campaigner Diana Warner was walking down the line outside Drax waving an orange flag when an empty freight train had to stop in December 2021. The doctor, who's 65 and from Bristol, told the court that she'd been protesting about Drax's contribution to climate change and deforestation. She's due to be sentenced on the 25th of March.
Campaigners fighting to save a mental health hub in Leeds, which could close to help the council balance its budget, have been staging a protest today. As part of cuts to save more than £100 million, the local authority wants to close Stocks Hill hub in Armley and move services to Horsforth. Campaigners say the facility provides a lifeline for many people. The council says the final decision will be made in April, but the level of support will remain the same.
Going somewhere else to tell my story on what has actually happened, it's like, I can't do that, I can't do it. I really can't. It still hurts now, to be honest. And if this place shuts,
I don't see it as a lifeline to me because I think I've recovered sufficiently. But there's people here, it is a lifeline. There's some say, well, if this closes, what am I going to do?
A hospice in West Yorkshire says that a funding boost announced by the government won't save it from having to cut jobs in the next financial year. Today, the government confirmed £25 million for hospices to allow them to make upgrades and refurbishments. But Kirkwood Hospice in Huddersfield says it doesn't cover everyday costs. Without further funding, they need to reduce their annual deficit by £1.7 million.
What we really need to see is a better balance of funding between the government and local communities. So at the moment, we only get 25% of what we need through government funding. 75% has to be generated by ourselves. And at the moment, because of inflation, etc., we've not got enough to support all of the services that we're currently providing.
Now stay with us because still to come on Calendar this evening.
Yes, champ, he's back.
Spark out after electrician Josh Hadley ditches his tools to chase his boxing dreams. What do his now former workmates make of it all?
Are you going to make him work his notice?
And some lively showers today after this morning's rain, but with a few rainbows around, that means a bit of sunshine too. Where does that leave us for the rest of the week? Your full forecast a little later on.
Yes, Kerry, we'll see you shortly. Now then, hundreds of families, it's been claimed today, are resorting to illegal cannabis products to treat their children's epilepsy. Campaigners had hoped that a ruling in 2018 granting a 12-year-old boy a licence to get the product on the NHS would allow others to follow suit.
But families say the only way that they can access the medical cannabis is through expensive private prescriptions or from illegal sources.
But one South Yorkshire GP is urging caution, as Kevin Ashford has been hearing.
This woman, who we're calling Megan, has a daughter with severe epilepsy who used to suffer up to 100 seizures a day. After trying multiple medications, Megan managed to source cannabis oil illegally, although she eventually decided not to give it to her daughter because of safety fears. Megan now has a legal private prescription for cannabis oil at a cost of £700 a month. She says the oil has transformed her daughter's health.
She got her personality back gradually over time. She began to smile again. The difference it's made to her life if her private prescription ended because there was no one to prescribe or we ran out of money, which are both, they could happen. I wouldn't hesitate to go and source it illegally again.
Megan's not alone. A report just published found more than 380 families who'd turned to illegal cannabis products to treat their children's epilepsy because of limited legal alternatives.
What we were seeing from the families we were interviewing is some children who are actually doing very well on these substances. They are seizure-free as a result of starting this. But of course there are other families where they're giving their child a product, they don't know what's in it. There's a lot of very, very dangerous advice being given alongside the products. People suggesting they should take high THC, which is a proconvulsant. Really the risk is of not knowing what's in that product.
Dean Eggett, who's GP in Doncaster, says some components in cannabis are useful for a number of medical conditions, but there are safety concerns.
The main problem is one of those chemicals does make people feel high. So there is a risk of prescribing a chemical to a patient where it helps with the medical problem, but causes a new problem in itself in debilitating that patient from everyday life, or in some cases actually affecting the brain and causing a condition called psychosis. Rare, but unfortunately known. So I would hope it has increased use, but I can understand some of the restrictions of not using it widespread.
Leave the cats alone.
Alfie Dingley was the first person in the UK to get an NHS prescription for medical cannabis to treat his severe epilepsy. He's been seizure-free for 4 years. His mother, Hannah, set up a foundation for parents in similar situations because she says the treatments that should be widely available are not.
We have an issue at the moment where we've got children prescribed privately whose families simply cannot afford it. So yes, we need long-term solutions. We need to look at how we gather evidence, make these medications licensed on the NHS. But in the short term, we also have a scandal unfolding where people are paying for this medication that shouldn't be. You know, the law was changed 6 years ago to allow this medication to be prescribed on the NHS, and that simply hasn't happened.
In response, NHS England told us they offer clinically and cost-effective cannabinoid medicines for a range of conditions, including severe epilepsies, that have been approved by the health regulator as safe. In the meantime, campaigners say until the products are widely available on the NHS, they expect more desperate parents to break the law. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
Yes, it's a difficult one, isn't it, to live with? OK, well, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Here's a look at what's happening with Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on tonight's ITV Evening News, the Prime Minister is en route to Washington. It is his first trip to the Trump White House. Can he get a deal for Europe and Ukraine? A blow for a greener future as the world's largest oil company announces it's going to ramp up fossil fuel investment. And put that kettle on, the scientific benefits of a strong cup of tea. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Thank you, Mary. We will. Do you know, I got caught out today, got caught in the rain.
You know what you need?
What?
A strong cup of tea.
I do. Yeah, that's probably what made me think of it, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Kerry.
There's no wrong time for a strong cup of tea, for sure.
It's
Showery
been
today,
mixed.
lively. I said it was going to be lively. I was expecting some amazing photographs, and of course you didn't disappoint. Wasn't quite expecting the photographs to come so soon. They basically came before sunrise. So this is a picture from Bill at Great Preston. You can just see in the sort of left-hand corner there the texture of the clouds starting to bubble up. Momentous clouds, talked about them before. Up and down drafts, basically when we've got instability in the atmosphere, and it's a sign of sort of dramatic things to come. So this was Bill's scene first thing this morning. morning. You can just see it there. But also, it was also seen in Harrogate. So a big thank you to Claire for seeing these really dramatic in that top right-hand corner there. And also from Harrogate, Bill Shaw. So that was sunrise just before this weather front came through, pushed its way south and eastwards, and then behind it we've had a mixture of some beautiful sunny spells today, but also some lively showers. We've even had thunder and lightning out towards parts of East Yorkshire around the Pocklington Driffield area. So some great sunny spells. Check this one out, you two. Absolutely beautiful. One of our top spots in the region, Knaresborough. A big thank you to Terry, but also amazing Cirrus Probatus cloud coming out of this beautiful shower cloud in Huddersfield. But rather than snowdrops, we had a carpet of hailstones in North Nottinghamshire. Big thank you to Sam. And also, good news is, I know you're going to ask me, is that Azores High happening over the next few days? Because we've had so much weather today.
Well, I've been waiting for it all week and it hasn't come.
Yeah, it's good news. I promised at the end of the week. It's all transition day tomorrow. The forecast is coming up. And I've also got some good news for you. I don't know if you've noticed the sunrises this week and the time they've been happening, before 7 a.m.
Yes.
And our sunrise happens before 7 a.m. now until the mid-September. So we're not going to get a sunrise after 7 a.m. until September. How cool is that?
I know, slightly lighter evenings as well, just a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we love that. Thank you.
Great. OK, well, a quick bit of football from last night now. And Huddersfield's League One playoff spot is looking perilous after another defeat last night. The Terriers are just 2 points above the chasing pack after a 2-1 defeat at Wigan. Callum Marshall with Huddersfield's goal. Barnsley are now just 4 points outside the top 6 after they made it back-to-back away wins with a 2-1 victory at Northampton, and Davis Keeler-Dunn, the hero, scoring twice. And Bradford left it late, but Bobby Poynton's goal was enough to see off Bromley and move them second in League Two.
And finally tonight, it's a story that's akin to a Rocky movie. Part-time electrician, part-time boxer Josh Padley went from crawling through roofs installing solar panels to fighting a world title in a matter of days.
Ah, yes, but now, spoiler alert, unfortunately, this story doesn't have the Rocky ending. Josh didn't win the world title, but it does have a happy ending in some ways.
Because the 29-year-old from Doncaster can now hang up his hard hat and fulfil his dream of becoming a full-time athlete. Arif Ahmed's been to meet him.
Arif, I can't believe this actually happened last week.
Josh Padley was back in the gym today, still buzzing after a life-changing week. Last Tuesday, the part-time electrician had been crawling through roofs installing solar panels.
The undefeated challenger from England, Josh Paddy Padley.
On Saturday, he was in Saudi Arabia looking to cause one of the biggest shocks in boxing history when he stepped in to fight for a world title.
A regular Tuesday evening after, like I say, going to work, Monday, Tuesday, put the tea in the oven, waiting for that to cook, and the phone rang at 6 o'clock. Dream phone call, really. Opportunities like that come once in a lifetime, and obviously I was keen to do everything in my power to get the opportunity, which is what we did. We jumped through every hoop we could, and somehow we pulled it off, and next thing you know, we're in Saudi Arabia.
You've got the call to be offered a world title fight, and obviously you've just been at work, so did you need to get some leave approved, or was your boss all right with giving you some time off?
Luckily, my boss is very understanding, so I just dropped him a message. He didn't actually answer me back Tuesday night because it was about 11 o'clock by the time I got everything sorted. Obviously, he were over the moon for me as well, so now he's been very understanding.
Yes, champ, he's back.
It was head trainer Jason Cunningham's job to prepare Josh for the punching power of three-weight world champion Shakur Stevenson on just 4 days' notice.
It was just a case of, I think we watched a little bit of Shakur the day we got there, trying to come up with some kind of game plan, but really it was just in the moment. He's got to go out there, give it his best shot, and just see what happens.
Josh didn't come back with a world title, but the experience has changed his life. He's now able to concentrate on boxing full time.
Previous to this, we've only ever I've gone to work all day and then we've come to the gym for an hour a night or an hour and a half on a night, and then like say it's full on. Now I'll be able to get 2 sessions in and structure my life around boxing.
Down the road in Bentley, his now former employers are sad to see Josh leave, but proud to see him chase his dreams. He's made the call now. He's hung up his hard hat for now. Are you going to make him work his notice?
No, you can't say to someone like that who's done something like he did last week. You can't say, come back here. This is his home. He is more than welcome back here, even if it's a day or two. You know, if he's born between fights, he's always welcome back here. Not a problem.
Josh has a few days to charge his batteries before the sparks begin to fly on his now full-time career.
I want you in Monday morning, 10 a.m. on the dot.
See you then.
My man, see you soon.
Amazing.
Great.
He's going to have a bright future, isn't he?
I know.
Get it, electrician.
Oh, I like it, yeah.
yeah.
Tell you what, I keep waiting for my phone to ring. When am I going to be asked to go out and box? Career change.
Yeah. OK, let's go to Gary. Where did that come from?
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, a little bit of everything across the region today. It was certainly a fresh and frosty start with the best of the clear skies. First thing this morning in the east, before that rain, of course, worked its way in, and then behind it, a mixture of sunshine and some fairly hefty showers. As we head through into this evening and overnight tonight, the area of low pressure is moving its way eastwards out into the North Sea. So an improvement from the west to drier, clearer and colder conditions with a touch of frost in rural sheltered spots. But we develop a northerly as that low pushes out into the North Sea, and it drags in a few showers and some fairly cold northerly winds out towards the coast as we head towards dawn. Another example of those beautiful momentous clouds at sunrise just before the rain came this morning. A big thank you to Gary. As we head into tomorrow, bit of an east-west split, cold and clear in the west, showery and breezy in the east, especially out towards the coast, but improving here into the afternoon. For everybody, a settled day with sunny spells, just some patchy cloud for the afternoon, very small chance of a shower. Temperatures around average, but feeling a little colder in exposure to that northerly flow. Now becoming dry and clear across all parts as we head into tomorrow night, so a fairly widespread frost expected. A cold start as we head into Friday, but high pressure in charge, keeping all these weather fronts at bay. Highs of 9, pretty settled conditions with the high pressure right over us. As we head towards the weekend, this weather front trying to sink its way through, but just generating a bit of clouds throughout the day on Saturday. But high pressure is hoping to rebuild as we head through into Sunday. A similar story on Monday, and then rebuilding, a lot of dry and quiet weather to come.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
So, Gary, tomorrow it's going to be hot.
No. We might drag in some warmth next week, but high pressure basically means dry with light winds.
She won't be told, will she?
It's not so good.
That's it for now. We'll be back at 10:30. Well, Arif will anyway. See you then. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.